I see a lot of good things with this Lazio. They're missing that killer instinct. And we said before the match that it's a team that's a work in progress, and they're going to have to learn because it's a new group, it's a new team built together, but they have so many interesting pieces. So many times when I'm watching Isaksen or Zaccagni go down the wings, and I say they can win a lot of these matches that they're tying or they're not going forward in.
This is what it means in terms of the table. 2 points remains between the two sides. Lazio still to play in the Europa League. They're down 2-0 against Bodo Glimt after the first leg, but the tie will be at the Olimpico this Thursday. Roma, they're in 7th place. Do you see either one of these two teams, Matteo, making it into the Champions League, going through Serie A?
I thought Roma, genuinely. Last week I said Roma would be one of the top 4, but I thought this was a must-win for them, right? Now with Juventus under Tudor, I see them having a much easier time, right? They're playing better football. The team has this fresh excitement around them. Even Colt Miners is scoring. So they might actually get into the top 4 now that they're getting these guys to actually play to the level that they thought they were getting. So I see it really difficult, especially this 1-1. I thought this was the chance for either one of these teams to distance themselves. Bologna's in there. You know, there's so many teams that want this, but I think it's going to be Atalanta and Juve to round it out with Napoli and Inter.
If they were going to get in the top 4, first of all, let's not mix any words. What Ranieri's done, what Roma's done since him taking over has been nothing short of incredible. That we're even the fact that we're having this conversation that they might be in the talk for Champions League football or even Europa League football is crazy. But if they were going to realistically get into Champions League football, they had the chance against Juventus last week. Difficult game, but that's what it was going to require. Today, away technically against Lazio, difficult game, but that's what it was going to require. And I think in that moment, they are a piece short or 2 pieces short or something short, you know, and they're at the end of a very long, positive run. So it's a lot to ask. I think it's unfair to ask Ranieri that, you know, to get into Champions League football. We all want to see it because I think it would be an unbelievable story.
Yeah, and Ranieri, if he was there from the beginning, given his form, Marco,
it's a different time. I mean, we'd be there having a different conversation altogether.
If you just look at what he's done since December 15th, I mean, they'd be by far the best team in Serie A.
Yeah, I don't put them in the conversation. I think if I would switch gears to Lazio, their better chances to come back against Bodo Glimt on Thursday and try to win the Europa League. Because I genuinely think we know what they did topping the table. I think they have the quality. They've had these ups and downs within their season. The tie is still there for them to overcome. It's only 2 goals, 1 goal early on, completely changes it. I see a lot of good things with this Lazio. They're missing that killer instinct. And we said before the match that it's a team that's a work in progress, and they're going to have to learn because it's a new group, it's a new team built together, but they have so many interesting pieces. So many times when I'm watching Isaksen or Zaccagni go down the wings, and I say they can win a lot of these matches that they're tying or they're not going forward in. So I still believe in Lazio as a tournament team. I think that is their only chance of getting Champions League football.
I mean, it's so interesting, isn't it, for Lazio, because obviously they have got that tie against Bodo Glimt. Do you think that Marco Baroni's job depends on them getting through the Europa League or getting into some sort of European football, or should they stay with him next season regardless?
I think he's done enough for him to warrant staying. What was the realistic expectation after you lose Luis Alberto, Ciro Immobile? You get all these young guys from smaller teams, Felipe Anderson, Sergio Milinkovic-Savic the year prior. What are the realistic expectations? I mean, he's right there. He's still in an area where he can dream about Champions League. So I think Marco Baroni is absolutely a pass, and he deserves to stay on.
The problem is he did too well. He did too well to start the season, and everybody's holding him to these expectations and writing in the newspapers every week, oh, he's under pressure, look at how the form is dipping. And I think you have to take a step back and think, what did we say about this team in August? Nobody had them in a conversation for a Champions League spot. We said they went through 3 managers. They had fired Tudor. They lost those key players. And he's able to put this group together. He did really well. They're coming back to reality. They're right within striking distance. We have to see, make sure he's got the group. But for me, you have to build on a project. And Baroni showed me everything to keep him for next season, even if he goes out on Thursday.
I agree with that. I think he's done a really good job with very little. But at the same time, if he finishes, there's a question, if he finishes outside the top 6 and then gets eliminated by Bodo Glimt, then is that?
He's right.
How does that affect the situation?
Yeah.
But if he finished outside the top 6,
Lazio, one of the 6 best teams in Serie A, I don't think so. If you actually look at pound for pound, I think we talked about this last week. I think they're 7th or 8th.
I think you could argue Fiorentina has a roster that's right there with Lazio.
I think Fiorentina, I think they have better players. Fiorentina have better players than Lazio.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yet we're talking about Lazio to be in the Champions League spot and to potentially win Europa League. So you got to take that into perspective.
Take it with a pinch of salt.
it's one of those games that I feel like it's an honor and a privilege to be on the call for that, and just like you guys to be on the coverage for it, because you look at it before the game, right? And I was saying on air, how many stadiums in the world do you get to experience that level of tifo on both sides, the songs, whether it's Roma Roma by Venditti or Lazio's pregame anthem, and then the game starts and it feels like almost like a gladiator battle from the times of ancient Rome, right? The players are falling all over the place. We had to call Christine Uncle a million times because I thought there was so many more yellows than what was actually given out. And it always follows a similar pattern, right? There's players going down. Everyone's, like, even the guys who have nothing to do with Rome, they're from a different country, they feel it. How could you not feel it? It feels like a cup final, and it's not just another Serie A game, and it means so much more. Even though today it's 1-1, both teams just crept a little bit closer to Juve. As you said, Marco, they're the big winner. But I thought overall, Lazio were the better team in the first half, and then Ranieri makes his change. Shomurodov comes in, just like the last Serie A game. That changes the game. So people ask him, why don't you just start this guy? He's like, I need the game changer off the bench. And it actually did help because the second half was way more balanced.
Bonetti runs the Shomurodov fan club. He's been holding it down
practicing
a long
my
time.
Uzbek. I just
If
hope, look,
Matteo likes you, then
people
he'll
from
go to the ends of
Uzbekistan.
the world for you.
People from Uzbekistan watch every Roma
right?
game. They are obsessed. This is whether it's Kushanov at City or this guy at Roma, Shomurodov. They watch every game.
What do you know?
Give them a little bit of love. They're
What do you
tuning
know?
in
So
from.
You said you
Please
learned a little bit of the
advance.
language. What do you know?
Oh man, I had it written down. It's actually crazy when you see it on the Google Translate because I had to like really recite it in the mirror like 10 times.
So this guy will do anything for a few more followers. He's going after the Serie B fans now. He loves talking about Serie B, and now the Uzbeki fans.
You got to go to Sheepshead Bay. You'd be the most popular person in Sheepshead Bay.